Now, let us move on to team number 5, and that is the Denver Broncos. And big surprise, the Denver Broncos will have a new head coach. So that's 4 in a row of new head coaches. And so we don't know who their coach is. We don't know who their offensive coordinator is going to be. So these are all guesses. If you take a look at the Broncos, though, look, they've got their quarterback. So it's just a matter of somebody that will be hired is going to have to accept Russell Wilson's going to be there for a few years. And I can make this work with Russell Wilson. So we'll see where that goes. The Javonte Williams injury was awful. It was Williams and, of course, my boy Brees Hall. Those are the two major young running back injuries from last year. Both teams. Well, Denver had just they were one of those typical NFL teams that not only struggled, but they struggled because they had injuries all over the place.
Yeah.
And Williams was a big part of that. So I think they definitely have to get they expect him to return, but they should probably get some insurance for Williams. I know they got a couple of free agents behind them, but they got to get some. But the offensive line has got to be their number one issue and need overall. They've got all sorts of problems. I mean, maybe they have one or two guys. Bowles is coming back from a broken leg. So I don't even think it's close. On offense, at least, it has to be. They've got to add 2 or 3 new starters, I think, on the offensive line this offseason.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's where I had them pegged. The biggest glaring need is going to be on that offensive line. And part of that discussion will start off with what they do with Dalton Risner, who is a free agent. If he hits the market, he's going to get paid. He'll probably be the top available interior lineman if he hits the market.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a better interior offensive lineman that's going to hit the market. Now, if you stay with Quinn Miners and Lloyd Cushenberry inside, I'm okay with that, but I would want to draft their replacements in case they don't move forward, they don't progress. They probably still deserve another year. Part of their offensive line struggles, in my opinion, just came from a lack of experience and just a broken system overall. Right tackle, Billy Turner, I think he's got to be replaced. So
yeah, they got 4 tackles that are free agents.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody's a free agent at tackle except Bowles.
Yeah, and Bowles, even him, I'll tell you what, I mean, there's a lot of good and bad with him. He's one of the more inconsistent players. I like him. He's a good pass protector. But coming back from an injury, starting to enter, I think he's almost 30 years old now. It's something that needs to be thought about. Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7.
Depending on how much they spend in free agency, yeah.
Right. And here I am saying round 1. They don't have that first round pick. So, Russell Wilson, whether you like him or not, whether you believe this or not, he's going to be there for at least another 2 years, minimum. And even then, I think it's going to be 3 years. So their mission needs to be, you put as much support around him as possible. You're going to have to force feed that offensive line. You might even have to add, like you said, another threat in the backfield, because if Javonte Williams does go down again, or he has a hard time coming back from the injury,
they got nothing else.
You can't send Latavius Murray out there again.
No.
I think you need a little bit more spark coming out of that backfield to take some of the pressure off Russell Wilson. I would love to see them get a better pass catching back. And there's a few of them in this draft class.
Who do you think, just off the top of your head, who kind of fits that mold, like in the early rounds?
So on day 2, I mean, I love Zach Charbonnet for that role. He's not the
Zach Charbonnet, though. I mean, we both love him. I mean,
yeah,
I think he's a number 1.
Yeah. I also don't think he's going to be – I would want a little bit more explosion. I think they have the bell cow bruiser in Javonte. So I'm looking at Deuce Vaughn, Devon Achane from Texas A&M, Eric Gray, who's one of my favorite pass-catching backs. And they all bring – something different from an explosive play, big play potential that they lack in the backfield.
All right, so we agree on that. On defense, you look at it, that defensive line, that 3-4 defensive line is just, I mean, especially with Tremont Jones, he's a free agent.
Yep.
So they have, I mean, I think they could get by another year at nose tackle with what they have. but they have to add some more talent overall
Yeah.
up front, no question. They could add another edge rusher. Look, you can't count on Randy Gregory when he plays. It's great; he does a good job as an edge rusher, but you can't really count on him. He seems to always be banged up. Browning got banged up. Benito was a nice little pickup. So you like and in Cooper. So you like some of what they got there, but they still need a bona fide edge rusher, another really monster edge rusher, a young one as well. And then in the secondary, I think the only thing they got to really worry about is replacing 34-year-old Kareem Jackson. So to me, it's that defensive line, yes, but they got to get another edge rusher.
Yeah, I mean, I would even just say let's term this as they need another pass rusher. Whether that comes from the defensive line or from the opposite side of the edge rushers. Again, like I'm going to take Randy Gregory and just again take him out of the equation. When he's at his best, he's awesome, right? That's a pretty good 1-2 punch right there between Browning and Gregory. But like you said, let's act like Gregory's not there.
Yeah. He's a bonus.
And bonus. And you could always use another pass rusher. We hear this every year. It's an old adage, right? You could always use another pass rusher.
And isn't it funny? Just a couple of years ago, it was Von Miller, it was Chubb, and it was the kid that they never invested in, the one from Tampa Bay, who
Barrett,
Shaquille Barrett, who I was pleading the Jets for 2 years when he was still basically a free agent and he's a restricted. And I was just pleading with the Jets to sign this guy, and he finally goes off to Tampa Bay and has the monster season in their Super Bowl. But just imagine that's where they were just a couple years ago. Now it's Randy Gregory.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Denver, they know pass rushers, and Gregory, to me, he's not it. But if they go into the draft and find the guy on day 2, I will be confident that he's going to work out. They know pass rushers. I don't know what they don't necessarily know what to do once they have them. With the trades of, but they know how to scout them. They know how to bring them in, and I do think that it's an organizational philosophy to bring in an edge rusher that we'll see.
And they also have to, if you take a look at the secondary, I said they're pretty good there, but Darby is coming off the injury. So that's something to keep an eye on, is what do they do at corner? I mean, Mathis was a 4th rounder last year. So, we'll see about his development.
Yeah, he played well. Mathis played well considering where they got him. I think that overall, defensively they should feel okay.
In the secondary.
And I think there's some upside if they bring back Draymond Jones. I think there's some upside in the front 7 to get the job done.
So you think it's really offensive line clearly number 1, and then on defense you got to find another pass rusher.
Yeah, you could say offensive line is 1 and 2,
1 and 2,
and then you go back down to the pass rusher number 3.